We are not doctors. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Consult your physician before starting any workout routine. This is the Martial Heart Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome back. We're doing another audio trials thing because I was moving some things around today. I was trying to put some things away, store some things, rearrange some things, and I wound up having all three of these microphones connected at the same time. So I figured I could just do a quick comparison video. And this comparison is going to range in price from $35 to $235, somewhere around there. So this, of course, is the Rode Procaster, and it's my primary podcasting microphone now. And it's huge, and it's wonderful. It sounds great. But I also have two other broadcast-style microphones, the other one being the Rode PodMic, which also just an absolutely beautiful-looking microphone. On camera, it's amazing. And it looks kind of like old school, just like this one, kind of like old school radio thing. And it's great. So I have that one. This one is the $99 microphone. The Procaster, by the way, is the one that's around $235. But the first broadcast style microphone that I picked up when I decided to start podcasting was this one that I'm going to show you. Initially, I had a condenser microphone. I had the AT2020 Audio-Technica, and it's a great microphone. It really, actually, for my voice, it was awesome. I loved it. But doing this inside your house in a, mostly untreated spaces and things, that AT2020 picked up everything. You could basically hear the neighbors down the road talking, and so it was not working out very well for trying to podcast. So I needed a dynamic microphone. So the first one I tried, I saw reviews for it online that seemed to be pretty good. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money because I already had an audio interface. I just needed a different type of microphone. And I definitely didn't want to spend more than what I paid for the AT2020 several years ago. But I didn't know what to do. So I just needed a dynamic microphone. So I found this one, which also looks really cool. It looks kind of very similar, except it's all the same color. And this one is the Maono PD100. Maono, however they pronounce it. I always pronounce it Maono. But this is their dynamic broadcast style microphone, the PD100, and I paid about $35 for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare these three so you can hear the differences, because this, of course, you would expect it to be the nicer microphone because it costs more. So we're going to switch over now, and I'm going to just go one by one, but I want to show you first, this is what's happening. All three of the microphones are going through a Clark Technic mic booster, and then going into the PodTrack P4 by Zoom. That's my recorder and currently being used as an audio interface. So I can do this. That way I have redundancy, and I can use the onboard recording so that I don't lose audio if something bad happens to the computer while I'm doing this. But all three of them are boosted because the Zoom PodTrack P4 is an amazing device. I love it. It's portable. It can run off of batteries, but it has a bit of noise in it. And it's of the three primary audio interfaces I have, it has the highest self-noise. It's not really supposed to, but it's enough of a hiss that it annoys me if I have to turn the preamps up. They have 70 decibels of gain in the mic preamps, which is a lot. It's a ton of gain, but it's not necessarily clean gain when it gets up, to when you put it on 6, 7, 8, and 9. It gets really fuzzy up there. So I have mic boosters for them, so I don't have to turn the preamps up very much. And in fact, there's so much gain built into the P4 that when I connect the Clark Technic mic boosters, I only have to turn the preamps on the Zoom up to 2 in order to get good audio levels with these dynamic microphones, which is just really, really kind of impressive. But so that's where we're sitting. I believe I turned all of the settings, all the preamps up to 2.5 roughly. So microphones into the mic boosters, into the P4 with a 2.5 setting. So let me switch over here. Now that you see what's going on, I am just going to switch back and forth between the microphones so that you can hear the differences. Again, this is the Rode Procaster. I keep fumbling with that for some reason. The Rode Procaster. And this one, I think it averages, let's say it's $235 so that it's a nice number, because we're going from 35 up to 235 roughly. But I don't know. I think it originally was more than that, but I've seen a lot of them these days for $249, $239, things like that. So again, I got mine used, so I don't really know what they retail for right now. So we have this one, and then I'm going to switch over to the other camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to mute this microphone, and I'm going to unmute the next microphone. And here we are on the Rode PodMic. The Rode PodMic. This is a $99 microphone. This is another item by Rode, and I always feel like I need to tell people that Rode does not sponsor my podcast because I have so much Rode equipment, but it's because I love their stuff. Their stuff is great, and I don't know. I'm smitten by their stuff. There's basically 3 companies that I buy things from regularly, and that would be Rode, Shure, and Audio-Technica, and I really want to try out some Lewitt equipment, but I haven't had a chance to, and I don't feel like spending the money right now, so I don't have any Lewitt microphones or interfaces to test, but I have Rode microphones, I have a Rode audio interface, I have Rode boom arms and stickers and all sorts of things, because they make really great stuff, and a lot of it is very affordable. I have a Rode NT1 that I recently purchased because I sort of converted a closet into a sound booth. And I'm going to see if I can set things up in order to do some voiceover type stuff. So this is the Rode PodMic that I've been talking on. And I'm going to mute this one and break out the Maono. And this is the Maoni. Maoni, I don't know what it is. The PD100. PD100. Papa Delta 100. And I don't know. What do you think? Now, I will tell you something that I had to do. The first time I started recording these and I started comparing them just to myself, something was weird, so I had to go through and I forgot that the Zoom PodTrack P4 has a low cut filter and a limiter built into it, and it comes defaulted on. So I had a low cut filter running on all of them, and it really took the deep end out of the PodMic. The PodMic, I guess, doesn't have as much low end as these other 2 microphones do. So when the Zoom added the low cut filter to this audio, it sounded really tinny and mid-rangey and high, and there just wasn't any bass in there at all, and so it sounded really weird. And but I went through and I took the low cut off of all of the microphones so that it would be a fair comparison, because the Procaster has a lot of low end in it, so it can withstand having a low cut filter thrown at it, and even set pretty high. It really doesn't matter because it has so much low end. But the PodMic, it just couldn't handle it. So and I don't know where I would have to look at the specs, and I have not done that to see where the low cut filter actually kicks in on the P4, but I don't know. So this is how the Maono PD100 sounds. I'm staying a little ways away, but I wanted to also show you this. That's a shock filter. That's a shock mount that it's on. It's not. It doesn't come with it. I purchased this actually. This was the shock mount that I used to use with the AT2020, but it happened to fit this one too. So I put it on this, so I could boom it and have some shock. But you can hear that. That's just me touching the cable for the microphone. The handling noise on this thing is horrible. But if you don't touch it, it seems fine. But even if you're touching the cable, I'm not touching the microphone at all, rubbing on the boom arm, tapping on things on the desk. Even though it's in this shock mount that I used with another microphone and it worked fine, it's so sensitive to those types of vibrations that you can hear yourself touching the microphone cable. So by comparison, let's pull this one up and I'll show you the same thing. Okay, we're back on the Rode Pod mic here, and what you're hearing is not I'll rub it down here at this end so that the microphone's not picking it up. You can't hear it. It's not the same thing. So, but up here, the microphone is picking up the sound of it, but not so vastly different. And and the Procaster is going to be similar, of course. You're not going to get any of that type of stuff. I can rub on this all day long, and it's not going to give us the same kind of feedback and stuff as the other ones did, or the other one did, the Maono. But all that handling noise, if you're not going to touch it, you can just, back it off and leave it alone. And it seems fine. So I'm not hearing that much difference. I know there's a considerable amount of difference, but I have my headphones turned way down so that it doesn't interfere with much. And also I have a sinus headache. So I don't want to have all this stuff in my head right now, all the pounding. So we're going to go back and when we listen to this, when I hear it, you can tell me. Put some comments down there or something and let me know, because I wonder if this $35 microphone isn't just as good as this $99 microphone. They're going to sound different, but if you're not going to move it around, you don't need you're not going to be making all these weird noises with it. Is it necessary to have this one? It's definitely a difficult decision, because I'm not disliking the sound from the Maono. I recorded several podcast episodes with it, and I experimented with it quite a lot. I usually have a clown nose, or a foam pop filter on all of them. But I took them off just so that there wouldn't be any, coloration of the sound or anything like that, because they all might react differently to the foam, covers. So I took them all off. So I'm sorry if you're going to hear some plosives and things like that while I'm goofing around, because I'm used to having a foam pop filter on it. But this, compared to this, I just don't know. And if you're not going to touch anything, that's so horrible. But if you're not going to touch anything and rub things around, you're probably going to be okay. And if you turn the sensitivity down, if you turn the gain down a lot, I'm running through mic boosters, but if you turn it down as much as you can, you're not going to get as much of the echo. I don't know if you can hear it, but this room has mild sound treatment in it. It's not great, and I'm going to do some more. So there is a little bit of an echo in here if you can hear it on the recording. I don't know if you can or not. But we have this, the Maono PD100. versus this, the Rode Pod mic. And these two I feel comfortable comparing because, and not because they're similar price points, because they're not, but I think they're geared towards the same market, someone looking for a budget microphone. And I don't really consider this a budget microphone. I see a lot of people talk about this and the SM58 and the SM57, things like that, things that are in the $100 to $120 price range as budget microphones. But if these are top-notch microphones, you're not getting a TLM 103 or something like that, no. But they're good microphones, and they're used for a number of things. And thousands of people use both the SM58 and the Rode Pod mic for their podcasts and for radio and all sorts of things for interviews. And it's fine. And you can equalize them however you want and make them sound the way you want. And it's a highly successful thing. So I kind of take issue with them calling it a budget microphone, because that makes you think of something like this, the less than $50 dynamic microphone that's going to have a lot of issues, but it might have decent sound quality, if you're not touching it at all. But, it has issues. And so you have to treat it in a specific way so that you get good sound quality. But the sound itself, the capsule and the microphone itself, I don't know. Other than that, touching, if I wasn't touching anything, we're going to just leave it like this right now and just let it pick up the sound. I'm going to try to do a noise check. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be picking up an awful lot of noise. There's not an awful lot of hiss in there. No more than the other microphones, it seems like. So you tell me. $35. This one I can tell even through my headphones, even though they're turned way down. I can tell this one has a lot more bass in it. So its frequency range is obviously different. But you tell me, is a $35 microphone going to cut it if you were just starting out and you had $100 to spend on an interface, an audio interface, and an XLR microphone? You needed a dynamic microphone. I don't know. I would have a hard time telling people to avoid this microphone. I would just tell them, don't touch it. Just put it on a stand or put it on a boom. Don't touch it and just speak into it, like you normally would. Get your distance set. And, if you want to equalize it, go ahead. But I'm not running any filters on any of this stuff. This is just clean, raw audio going from the microphone into the audio interface and into the computer. So there are no filters. There's nothing. There's no processing involved. So I wanted it to just be the raw sound. So yeah, okay. Once again, that's the Maono PD100 versus the Rode Pod mic. The Rode Pod mic, of course, an excellent microphone. You can't really go wrong with it. It's not perfect for everybody's voice, and I don't think it's good for my voice, especially when the low cut filter was on. It just didn't sound right for me. I have a lot of low in my voice, and so if you cut it out, then I sound really funny to me. But Rode Pod mic, I love it. It's beautiful, and I think it has decent sound quality and stuff. So, but versus my Procaster, I definitely prefer the Procaster in its performance and the way it sounds with my voice. I have, again, no equalization, no processing, nothing going on here. I don't even have a low-cut filter or high-pass filter, whatever you want to call it. I don't have one operating right now on anything. So these are just raw. This is the way they sound out of the box with my voice. And so now I guess everybody's got to figure out if it's worth it. If $35 for a microphone like that, and you're just starting out, is it going to work? Yeah, I think it will. My camera moved, but you're seeing my tools up there. But yeah, I think it's fine. I'm going to go back and listen to it again before I post it. But, yeah, I don't have a problem with it compared to the other ones. I mean, if I had never had a Procaster and I had never known that this existed, that there was, such a sweet sounding microphone out there, I may not have ever switched from the Maono PD100. I would have gotten tired of the handling noise. I know that. So I would have upgraded. But when I upgraded, it was just because I became aware of these other microphones and I wanted one. So I got one. And then I got another one, and then another one, and another one. It's an addiction, folks. So, hey, let me know what you think. 35, 99, 235, roughly, somewhere around there. I think I know the winner, but pick for yourself. I'll catch you next time.